Y en el marco de esta convención, Karina Yapor entrevistó a Tom Emmer. Es el líder de la mayoría en la Cámara de Representantes desde 2023. Actualmente representa el 6º distrito del Congreso por Minnesota. Veamos sus impresiones de lo sucedido esta semana en Milwaukee.
Hoy está con nosotros Tom Emmer, es el congresista tercer en rango de la Cámara de Representantes de los Estados Unidos. Congressman Emmer, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I would like to start with your impressions on the convention so far and, of course, your speech.
Wow, it's been amazing. The convention, so I was there in 2008. The president actually asked me this. He said, do you think this is the best convention? And I said to him, you know, I was there in 2008 in St. Paul, Minnesota. I was there in Tampa in 2012. I was in Cleveland in 2016. We don't count 20 because that was just a mess. But of all the conventions, this is absolutely the best I've ever been at. And before I get into the speech side of it, it's the unity and the message. There hasn't been this much unity in this party. I heard somebody say in 20 years. I would say back to 1980, when the Ronald Reagan experience started. That's the feeling in this convention hall, that we're all together. And we have a message. The message is, in my state, Minnesota, Americans can't afford 4 more years of the Biden-Harris failed economic agenda that's driven 20% inflation in 3.5 years, that's costing the average American $1,000 more a month, $12,000 a year. I mean, this can't happen anymore. Housing affordability, all-time low, credit card debt, all-time high. Then it's about the border, right? You gotta have a secure border if you're going to be a nation. And it's about the weakness that Joe Biden portrays or projects around the world that has resulted in conflicts everywhere, which would not happen under Joe Biden. That energy. So the speech, which we'll get to, somebody said, you seem to be really juiced up. And I said, you know what? You walk out onto that stage and the electricity that is coming back from this amazing group of people, yeah. You can't help but being excited. It's one of the best conventions I've ever been to.
It's been great. It's the first one for me, but it's been great, absolutely great. So speaking about, of course, the speeches that we had heard here, last night we saw Peter Navarro just hours before he was released from jail for not complying with a subpoena. However, on the other hand, General Attorney Merrick Garland hasn't complied with providing the recordings of the Joe Biden's investigation. So do you think there's a double standard in the judicial system?
Yeah, I wouldn't, I'm not going to go that far, the judicial system. I would say there is absolutely, it's not do I think, I know there is a double standard when it comes to application of the law in this country. Merrick Garland happens to be the Attorney General, and he gets to decide who he's going to prosecute and who he's not going to prosecute. The Democrats, and I believe that the Biden administration is behind it, have literally held Donald Trump or tried to hold Donald Trump to a standard that no one else is held to. And by the way, by abusing the legal system for political purposes, they think they achieved something. They made Donald Trump stronger every time they did this. And when they come back and they try to say convicted felon, I don't think they realize that the vast majority of Americans absolutely have the hair on the back of their neck stand up because they know injustice when they see it. And Donald Trump has literally been attacked because of what he believes and what he's fighting for. And it's all these common men and women who built this country or came to this country and have helped to sustain it and build it better. They're the ones that are sitting back saying, this guy I identify with. I mean, think about it. This is a billionaire that actually talks to the common man and woman like they haven't been. More importantly, he's listening to them. Democrats been talking down to him for 30 years, and they got away with it for a while, but the talk didn't match the walk, and Donald Trump filled that void back in 2016. We saw what the world looks like under Donald Trump until they brought that pandemic mess forward. Yes. We're past it. Hopefully we never have that again. Yes. Government should not shut us down, ever. We can figure out how to take care of ourselves. But when it comes to Donald Trump, now we're looking at what we've had for 3.5 years. and what we get under Donald Trump, it's a pretty easy choice. That's why he's going to win in November.
Absolutely, you're right. And well, right now, there are so many questions about the assassination attempt that former President Donald Trump was victim of on Saturday. Tell me a little bit about the investigation process that you guys in the Congress will be conducting.
There are so many questions I have. I mean, how did a shooter get on a rooftop that close and with an unobstructed view of the podium where the former president and the leading presidential candidate in this year's election was going to be speaking? How did he know? I mean, a lot of people are like, how did he get there? How did he know to go there? Well, how did he know that that's where he needed to go in order to get that shot? Now we're finding out over the last day or so that Secret Service actually identified him ahead of time.
Yeah.
Why was Donald Trump allowed to walk up on that stage when they knew there was a potential threat that was out there? And, you know, I respect our speaker. He's called for the resignation of the head of the Secret Service. Others of our members have. I don't feel that way yet. That's the easy way out. She needs to sit in front of the judiciary. Actually, it starts with House Oversight, which is going to have a hearing on Monday. She needs to sit in front of that committee. The Homeland Security Committee. The Intelligence Committee will deal with the FBI. But she needs to sit there and answer these questions. There was a briefing yesterday, which I will tell you is just so typical for these people. They tell you nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they give you all kinds of vague whatever. They tell you nothing. We are going to get to the bottom of it one way or another. And God forbid that this administration was not providing the resources that are necessary to protect their chief political rival.
Congressman Emmer, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.